Hello and welcome to Arcane's Gaming Through the Ages. I'm Arcane, and today we're going to be following up from this is part 2 of the top 21 games for the 3DS to definitely check out. So first on the list, if you haven't seen part 1, then I would definitely check that out from one of my other videos. But yeah, other than that, let's get started. So, the first game I definitely want to talk to you about is um, Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. Uh, so, this game kind of is fine to play one player, but it's definitely better if you have two other people playing with you via download play, which you'll be able to find on your 3DS if somebody's putting out wireless play or download play, then definitely make sure you have two other players. If not, it's fine, but it is a little bit harder to do and strategize by yourself. But yeah, other than that, definitely Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes is probably, even though it says one player, it's best to try and play with two other people for a total of three, so that way it's easier to control all the all the Zelda characters. Um, Next is number 2 for this video is Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn. This game is definitely interesting considering um, the fact that when you first get into it, you can't actually suck up and absorb enemies' powers like normal Kirby does. But then again, it does make things seem a little bit less gruesome. So, parents, if you have a little kid who wants to play a game that isn't so kiddie, but it's still kind of fun to play, Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn. It's definitely a game worth checking out. It's part 2 or an advancement into the Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn for the Wii. But yeah, definitely a little bit of an interesting take. Fun, but it's pretty interesting considering the fact that it's just yarn. But yeah, you'll definitely utilize other skills from that Kirby knows. Anyway, at number 3 is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Uh, Link Between Worlds. Sorry, Link to the Past is pretty much what this game kind of has a lot of elements from. So if you have like a Game Boy Advance or an SNES or something that plays that, then definitely check it out because it's got a lot of similar aspects. Even though basically the whole entire world is very similar, as you notice, um, and it's definitely got a lot of similar aspects. Uh, but yeah, definitely if you're looking to check it out, definitely look at it, give it a try. You can go in between and stick yourself to a flat surface, so you can just travel along a flat surface and go into little crevices that send you out into another world, kind of like a reverse world that has a little bit of a lot of differences. It's kind of tapping into the multiverse and stuff that you wouldn't expect Legend of Zelda to really have, aside from the fact that there's different timelines, but none of them actually really connect up until that one point in Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Um, but yeah, it definitely kind of cool that they kind of take into consideration the multiverse. Anyway, next on item on the list is Kirby's Triple Deluxe. Now, this one utilizes Kirby's ability to take items and enemies and use them to his advantage by taking their abilities. It's really kind of cheap. It doesn't have that much gameplay, but it is fun to try and get 100% if you're a collector or just someone who likes to play Kirby games. Then definitely interesting because what this Kirby Triple Deluxe also features 2 built-in games, so you can play DS download play with someone or just by yourself. So that way you can battle them in a Super Smash Bros. Kind of setting, or do a thing called DD's Drum Dash, where you pretty much just bounce them uh, up and down on drums and try and get a new high score each time. But other than that, it's fun to definitely play and just for a few times to borrow from a friend or something. Yeah. Next one is definitely an interesting Pokemon title. Pokemon Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun here. Pokemon Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun is a game that takes into consideration the multiverse, which is kind of interesting, considering a lot of the multiverse things that Pokemon really hasn't had much of uh, a linear timeline. It just kind of happens, whatever. Although there are some fan theories out there, so definitely check those out on YouTube as to kind of what happens in each game. It's definitely taking into consideration the multiverse and the fact that you can actually catch a lot of legendary type Pokemon. This has happened before in some previous titles, like Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where you can fly on Latias, and if you're lucky enough, encounter flying uh, flying legendary Pokemon or just kind of legendary Pokemon that you find other places. But if you're looking to get other Pokemon from other regions, Pokemon Ultra Moon definitely has some of that aspects where you can ride on Ultra Necrozma form of Sogliel or Lunala. But other than that, it's basically um, a lot of the same aspects to Pokemon Sun, except for towards the very end. That's when things start to get different and different things happen. But yeah, definitely check that out. If you want to know about kind of what happens, make sure to either buy the game or just watch it on YouTube. Um, and like I was talking about, Pokemon Sun and Moon is next on the list. Pokemon Sun and Moon kind of like introduced a whole new concept of Z moves. Basically, you grab little crystals, put it on a wristwatch or something, and then you do funky moves and stuff. You don't use your 3DS to actually guide the character's arms. It just automatically happens. And it's pretty cool seeing your Pokemon kind of go through the motions with you. There are definitely some cool things that made Pokemon Sun and Moon popular, but not as popular as some of the other ones like Pokemon Red and Blue. Um, and when they remade it for Pokemon Red and Blue Virtual Console, as well as Pokemon Yellow, Sword and Shield, and so on. But yeah, it definitely probably did better than Pokemon Black and White. Anyway, next is the Luigi's Ghost Mansion, as it's called here, Luigi's Mansion. Basically, Luigi inherits he wins a mansion, which is kind of cool considering his luck. Um, but he ends up going into this little details about kind of setting him up for Luigi's Ghost Mansion 1 and 2. I mean 2 and 3. Basically, this is when he meets up with Professor Egad, who it makes like starts making little bits of appearances and kind of a mention, and I believe Mario uh, Sunshine Isle or whatever. Um, but yeah, he's definitely plays a major part in this. If you get the 3DS remake of it compared to the GameCube remake, there will be a fact for you're able to play with a friend who has the game as well, or can do DS download play. DS download play allows you to pretty much replay levels that you've already done. A lot of critics say that this game, though, is pretty short, but it's definitely, if you're wanting to start off with Luigi's Ghost Mansion and you have a 3DS, definitely check this out. But yeah, uh, next we have Kingdom of Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. It doesn't really play into the Kingdom Hearts that I've found yet, because I haven't really played through much of it, but so far it doesn't necessarily play into the game, the whole entire game timeline, but it is definitely a fun Kingdom Hearts game. It's Disney, so a lot of Disney appearances and that make it pretty fun. You start out meeting people like Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Donald, as well as a lot of other Final Fantasy characters too. So there's that twist. But if you do want to get Kingdom Hearts, definitely try and get the part for the PS4 or anything else that is combining all those games. So Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and Kingdom Hearts 2.5 for the PS3 is what I have. And it's definitely something worth checking out. The whole Kingdom Hearts thing is definitely fun. It combines Disney, Final Fantasy, RPG elements to it. But yeah, definitely if you're a big fan of Disney or Final Fantasy or RPG or anything like that, then it'll definitely be another good game worth checking out. Um, Next up, we have Pokemon Rumble World. There are a few other Pokemon Rumble games out there that kind of tie a little bit into this. There's not much of a story per se, but you can complete quests and earn Pokemon up to X and Y. Uh, they haven't really come out with the new one as of yet. They did come out with another one at one point, sometime in 2019, but it didn't really last well. So unless you can find it on your phone or something, then definitely, definitely get one of the several titles of Pokemon Rumble, just basically where you use your Mii and kind of it allows you to kind of envelop yourself into the game by using your Mii character. You're able to customize in this Pokemon world. You're able to customize some of your clothes, as well as the fact that you can choose some partner Pokemon, as well as you can get over the 700 Pokemon up to that point in Pokemon X and Y, or all the Pokemon really discovered in the Kalos region. Um, but yeah, definitely a fun game to check out for little kids. Brand new, it is pretty expensive, so and used, it is also pretty expensive. So be prepared to pay a lot of money for it. Uh, the next we have here, as I said in part one and recently in this video, Pokemon X and Y. Definitely kind of like based in Paris. A little bit new to the genre, and it released around the same time as Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It introduced Mega Evolution. It's got like a Paris-like setting in some of the towns, which is a lot of basing the Pokemon regions off of something. Is what Pokemon has done best. So you'll see a lot of similarities between, and you can even look up on the Pokemon website, kind of like in their interviews with them, kind of what they based it off of. But yeah, the Pokemon X is definitely a fun game to check out. It introduces Mega Evolution, and quite a lot of people actually have it. But yeah, it's definitely probably in one of my top 5 favorite games. As I was saying before in part 1, uh, I have a few other top 5, top 10 games of 3DS that are definitely worthwhile. Um, And then, last but not least, we have The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. This is what happens after a certain timeline, part of the timeline happened in Legend of Zelda. I don't really understand it as much, but if you go onto the Pokemon website, I mean, on the Nintendo website, go all the way down, and you should see Link and Zelda, a picture of them, then click on it, and if you just tap about, then you'll be able to scroll all the way down and see the whole timeline of what Nintendo has placed it all as. Um, and it's definitely a good game, but before you do that, definitely check out Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which came before it. But yeah, so these are all definitely good games. If you have any more games that you want me to talk about, or just games that you think I've left out there, definitely good games to check out. Make sure to put it in the comments, hit like, and make sure to subscribe to my channel, Arcane's Gaming for the Ages. Thank you, and hope to see you in the next video, guys.